Thank you everybody for joining us for Tuesday Morning Coffee. I've got my coffee. Jim,
you've got mine as well.
Good, good. Today, looking outside, you guys see we still have we have the fireplace going. Something tells me we're going to be doing that on a fairly regular basis.
Looks like a little cooler year than last year.
It is a little cooler.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, just looking outside, I got up this morning again. It was a little bit chilly. We don't want to scare these people away because it's gonna burn off this afternoon and should be pretty nice.
The fact is, this is nice. This is a nice way to wake up.
Think about those people that have to hit the golf course down in Arizona. I mean, they have to have a tee time at like 6 a.m. to be off.
Or else you can't play in the heat.
That's right.
That's right.
Dehydrated.
We don't have that problem here.
Not at all.
If you remember looking at our blog, you would have seen this blog about should we buy a home now and why. And today's topic is going to kind of reflect back onto that blog and doing that same blog post in a video format.
Historically, it's fair to say that across this nation, it is absolutely the best time ever to buy a home. Is that correct?
That is what all the experts are indicating. Now, you and I don't know what it was like to buy a home in the 30s and 40s because, well, quite frankly, we weren't here then. Well, I wasn't here then.
Don't go there.
Oh, okay. So the 5 reasons to buy a home. Now, reason number 1 on our list says real estate is a great long-term investment. You know, we've just had the biggest boom and the biggest bust in real estate history. And did you know that the real estate market in general is still outperforming in a big way the stock market over the last 10 years?
That's right. That's right. When we look at history, and I think we still have this on our website, and you look at that graph, it dramatically outperforms the stock market.
Yep.
Is it fair to say, though, that, and I know you and I discussed this earlier, is it fair to say that mentality that a house was the investment, a home was the investment, is something that we have to be very cautious of moving forward?
Right, and many of us have heard for years that a home is the key to wealth in the U.S., but a home is not a checkbook. And we'll talk about that on a different day as well, I think.
Yeah, I think that's important. And
right. It's all
that has been our mentality now for some time. I mean, we've had clients that we've had to kind of
rein them back in.
Just to say, hey, what are our goals? What are we trying to accomplish?
Exactly.
But no, you're right. I mean, in looking at this, that boom and bust, the bust part of it has created an incredible amount of inventory. More inventory than we have seen relative to buyers. So that, in fact, makes it, a buyer's market. That's correct. Okay.
In many segments, but not every segment, huh?
Well, that's true. That's true. And we're going to talk more about that. Later.
You bet.
Okay.
So, Eric, why don't you go right up number 2 on the list there?
You bet. A home is a better place to raise a family. According to Fannie Mae's 2010 National Housing Survey, 78% of the people polled said it was a great place to raise children. 75% said because they'd feel safe. A home is a safer place. And of course, I think we're talking versus an apartment complex rental. 70% said because you have control of your own space. Home ownership and pride of ownership is a big thing. And I think that has been, will continue to be the driving factors in owning a home.
That's right. It kind of leads right into number 3 on this list, and it says, a home creates a sense of community. There's a poll, a paper that was done by the Federal Reserve Bank of New York called the Homeownership Gap, and it explains that because there's a financial interest for the homeowner, there is that pride of ownership, and that homeowner will take measures that will maintain or increase the value of the property. And I think we can kind of reflect on that even in the sense of just a car. If you have your own car, or if you rent a car, the difference of mentality you have in how you treat that car. Now, just carry that over to a house on a bigger scale, and I think most of us can understand why that pride of ownership exists.
Certainly, when we're out hunting for homes for our clients, we go into various communities, and it is obvious the pride of ownership that is in that particular community.
That's absolutely correct.
Even that particular block. And of course, many of our folks are, when they're looking at a home, they're looking at the neighbors, the people to the right, to the left, across the street,
Right.
and they're making decisions on that neighborhood based upon the care that other people have taken to their property. And they see that if they're taking care of their property, my home will be a safe place. Item number two. Number one, my home will be a good investment, or at least my investment will not be compromised by my neighbors.
That's
fair?
exactly right. I can give you an example from just 2 days ago. I showed a couple a home in an area called Lakewood, and it was by far the nicest home on the block, which makes it a problem as an investment because their block was very run down. And here was this beautiful home, well manicured lawn. But the fear was buying the home and having it be the nicest home on the block forever. And how would that look to their value to try to sell later? So obviously we opted not to buy that home simply because there was a fear factor.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I mean, that's a decision that everybody makes. And ironically, how many times have you had a client and you've been driving to the home and you pass other homes, and sadly, perhaps, you looked and you just kind of shook your head and turned that car right smack dab around, and they said, "Okay, you're right. Let's get out of here."
We don't want to wake up next to that every day.
That's right. That's right. That happens to us on a regular basis.
Yeah. So let's go right to number 4 there.
Okay, item number 4. It's cheaper to own than rent in many parts of the country. And then, of course, there's a Credit Suisse report. But simply put, folks, we have mortgage rates that are at historic lows. At no other time in this nation's history, have we seen interest rates as low as they are today. I mean, I think par, last time I checked, was around 4.5%, and that is just incredibly low. So when we see these really high inventory levels with these incredibly low interest rates, we're talking about mortgages that are a couple hundred, at least in our area,
right,
$200-300 lower than what it would be were you renting. And of course, a lot of the people that during this bust period that have lost their home, that have created this huge amount of inventory, what are they doing? Well, they're having to rent. So the demand for rentals is up, right?
That's correct. And I hear the price of rent has gone up too.
Absolutely, yeah. It continues to go up. So again, there's going to be a point in time, everything will even out. But getting back to our topic today, the fact remains that home ownership and buying a home makes more sense now than it ever has.
That's correct.
How about number 5?
Finally, number 5 on our list says the people who do buy a home don't regret it. In a recent national poll from Bankrate.com, it found that 90% of homeowners say they don't regret buying their home despite a tsunami of foreclosures, short sales, and loan modifications.
Well, I think that just goes back to what we've been talking about already. It's clear that home ownership and pride of ownership and having a place that you can raise your family, the safety factor, is still part of the American dream. The American dream is home ownership.
And I think one thing that's great right now is interest rates are low, but everything you get now basically is a fixed rate loan. And so there's no interest only loans for the most part. And so when you get a mortgage, that's going to be your fixed overhead. It's not going to be one of these moving targets for your budget. So I think a lot of the danger part of the market is obviously gone for that reason now. Obviously we need to have jobs and stable income to support that, but that's a different topic entirely.
Well, you and I discussed before we came on today that we talked about getting pre-approved, and the pre-approval process, we go to our lender, your lender, we establish what you're pre-approved up to spend based upon your income level, but we also discussed just briefly, and this is going to be another day, the difference between what you're approved for and what we think you should budget for. Now, we're not here to tell you what your budget needs to be, but I think that needs to be part of our discussion.
Absolutely.
When we're going house hunting, what is your budget? What do you want to spend? The days of being house poor are over. We just don't encourage it. You know, we would rather you find something that you're comfortable with, and with the abundance of inventory, I can't believe we can't find something in there. But let's, you know, our goal is to find you something that works for you, that's going to just be a fit, and you're not going to get in that. You're not going to have that buyer's remorse. Oh my gosh, did we buy too much home? Oh my gosh, you know, can we afford a vacation? Oh my gosh, can we? That's part of our
the car needs tires.
Oh,
you know, where are we going to get money for tires for the car?
So I've never needed a new transmission for my Land Cruiser. Now,
especially not this year.
No,
never.
Ouch, that was pricey. Let me tell you.
So an example would be you get approved for a home, and let's say maybe you're approved to $300,000, and that might look like an $1,800 or $1,900 payment with your taxes and insurance, but your budget's only going to allow you $1,500 per month to be comfortable in your budget. We're going to help you with that budget, figure out what home's best for you. And we are not the realtors. We're going to push you to your maximum of your approval. It's got to fit your budget, or we don't want any part of your of helping you fail. We really do want to know your goals so we can help you achieve those goals. So next week, we talked about a topic connected this morning.
No, but we did want to address the obvious. The obvious is it's a great time for buyers, but what about sellers? We do have some strategies that we're working with our clients on selling. There are some things that we do that are fairly unique, and if your concern is the sale of your home, we'd like you to give us a call or get in touch with us via our website, and we'd be more than happy to share some of those strategies.
Great, that's awesome.
Anything else?
Nope, that's a great wrap up. We want to thank you for joining us for Tuesday Morning Coffee this morning. And please do check us out again next week. We do promise that we'll get better at this and continue to hone our skills.
There you go. We're a work in progress.